Good morning to you. Happy Thursday morning. Really fresh this morning. And for the second day in the trot, we're going over to Yorkshire for another midweek car boot. Back over to Strawberry Field today, which, as I said last time, which was the first time I went and fell in love with Strawberry Field. It's well worth the 2.5 hour trip. This is definitely one of those days though that I've had to dig deep to drag my ass out of bed. I'm sure resellers, particularly those of you that do it full time, have this argument with yourselves on a regular basis. You give yourself reasons why maybe you should just stay in bed and then do some listing, or you come up with 100 excuses seemingly in a minute why it's a good idea for you to stay in bed and not actually get out and see what you can find. This was one of those days today. But if experience has told me anything, these are often the days that you come up trumps. So it's time to put my big boy pants on, get out on the road and see what this awesome car boot has to offer. Let's rock and roll. It's turned up and not quite one row yet, but it was like this last week. I do like getting to boot sales nice and early. This seems to get really busy really quickly.
I want to say thanks for the content, mate. I'm a subscriber
as well.
I'm Lee Pedrick. Yeah.
Hi, Lee. How you doing?
Some watcher as well.
Oh, belting, yeah.
We saw the one that you did here the other week, so we've travelled 2 hours, got up at 3 in the morning.
Yeah. I've just bumped into a couple of lads I normally see at Burska over my neck of the woods.
When I used to come here, this was actually a strawberry fields.
Right,
that's why it's called Strawberry Fields, because they used
to
to grow strawberries here. We used to go strawberry picking.
So you knew you were going though.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you anyway, you guys.
Well, thanks for the content.
Thank you. Cheers, man. How much have you got in your skates, pal?
£10.
Did you go 7?
Sorry?
Did you go 7?
10's the best I can do on them.
Yeah. I'm going to take a punt on those.
Cheers.
Yep. Cheers, pal. Thank you.
Yeah. Maybe one on that.
How much you got in this coat, pal?
Good.
Are you what? Shop?
Yeah. Cheers, man. Thank you.
We've got a 1961.
Lovely.
The electronic ones do well with the speakers, or these ones which are the older ones. So if it's the red one, pre-1970, but the best way to tell is the board has a date in.
All right,
in the middle of the board tells
everything
you what.
Oh, there you go, didn't know that. Oh, happy days.
So if you open your board up, only the earlier ones, copyright, and then it'll give you the date.
Nice.
So it's always obviously the oldest date.
Yeah.
So this one's 1961.
Fantastic.
But it's only the earlier ones, the newer ones don't, obviously, because they're all 1995 or later.
What's your name, sorry? I didn't ask today. Marie, nice to meet you.
Every day's a school day, innit?
Absolutely.
Just his
you know, I really get a buzz off learning new stuff, even like little tiny bits of information.
But the red ones finished at the 1961. That's when they go to the different colours.
Brilliant. How much are your Levi shirts, pal?
Pardon?
How much are your Levi shirts?
Tenner. The second hand, you know.
Yeah.
States and that. Yeah, I've got some today. To one side. Yeah. I'll let you move your stuff and then I'll tell you. Yeah. 36 and tight.
Yeah. Use half a dozen for 50.
Go on, mate.
Top man. I'll have to find half a dozen.
Yeah. I've got loads of gear and that. Good at perfection.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, if you,
Right.
I've got a load more, but I can't fetch them all.
Of course, yeah.
If I were you, because obviously you're selling them on, aren't you?
Yeah.
I would have gone for a darker one. I know you might think it, no. It's up to you anyway. You got 5 then?
Got 5.
You trying to get more?
Yeah. Well, we said 6 for 50, didn't we?
5, you said?
6 for 50. Well, you do a tenner each.
Yeah, that's 6 for 50. Oh, go on then. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Oh, it's alright. It's early in day, isn't it?
Is it chicken? I mean, it's small. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 5. You got 5 there. That's all.
Here's one here.
No, 6 then.
Yeah.
You have another one here. 6.
That's a 6, isn't it? Yeah. Ooh.
I think that's 7. So let's count. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Ah, there you go. It's, I'll leave that one.
Right. Cheers,
Thank you,
mate.
sir. Have a good day, gents.
Thank you.
All the best
Cheers
to you.
again.
That was a genuine miscount. I wasn't intentionally trying to diddle that guy. Brain's not working. Hopefully that coffee stand's opening really soon. What have you got on that, bud?
Tenner, mate.
How much? Bits and pieces, yeah. I was just telling your lad about denim guy.
Yeah.
Levi's, mate. 501s.
I've been picking up Orion's plain one, 5 figures.
Ryan's well.
At the very end.
Yeah. It's brand new that, mate. I've just taken it out of the packet so you can see it.
Yeah.
It's got a whistle with it as well.
Sound.
Please don't let me down.
Just stick them in my chair. It's just 2 on that though.
Is it? Dalton, you read my mind. Which is Scrabble?
£1, darling.
Cheers, mate. Cheers. Nice one. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Thanks very much. Have a good day.
Thank you, you too.
N64,
How much is it, Bob?
35.
Is it tested, you know?
Yeah, they're all big tested, all working. I'm here every week usually.
Gone out for me, this. I'm from Chorley.
Bye-bye.
I did 25.
Go on then, Benji.
Nice one. Thank you, mate.
You want a bag?
No. How much is on your PS4 controller?
How much you pay? Tenner.
Thank you very much. N64, finally got one. Got some damage on the corner of the case and the top trap is missing.
It's started to trend, guys.
It's allegedly, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll come down and find her.
How much is that, Paul?
It says here, pound table. It's
I missed that.
It's on the glasses, you say.
What's it?
Now, how much do you want to give us?
£1.10. I'll see if I can find somewhere to go with it.
Okay, that's £1.
Get away. Was it a drinks thing? I think it is,
I
isn't
think
it?
it's either a drink thing or a...
Yeah, it's a drinks thing, is that?
So,
No, I'll stay with that, I think.
okay, mate.
I think
Cheers.
it's it. Thank you very much.
Cheers, thanks a lot.
I should have just said I can't read, shouldn't I?
It's this side, they're not big enough for
That's
you,
it,
are they?
yeah. Need to be neon or something.
Yeah, flashing big with
That's
that.
it, yeah. How much are they?
£4. Tried to mark them so that they're not paid.
How much are your boots, Pop? Hey?
It's the best boots on the market.
I've had I can't believe this one before. How much are they?
Well, they're 150 quid normally.
Right.
I'm asking 90, but I'll come down a bit.
Yeah.
They're Altberg.
Yeah, I recognise them.
Military name.
Yeah. Price hasn't changed much since last time I had a pair. Well, I suppose that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Do you give them sleeping bags?
They have the trousers there.
Yeah.
That one there, then that there.
This one here?
No. You've got a left hand on it.
Oh, right, okay.
Straight out those.
It's a bivvy bag, that, isn't it?
Yeah, busy bag.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at them both on it.
Yeah. What's the low sugar on that?
Sorry?
What's the low sugar on that?
Well, make us an offer.
7?
Yeah, go on. Cheers.
Well, you laugh. It works anyway.
Tenner, mate. Nothing less than a tenner, mate, for it.
You what, sorry?
I won't even take a poll less than tenner for that.
No, that's fair enough.
I know what
yeah.
it's worth, that, you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
Have you got tin out, Kev?
Dreaming. Sorry, oops. Sorry, my bad.
Take my missus if you want.
it initially comes apart, but it all comes apart.
Yeah, it does. It's just, I've had these before. It's just fiddly getting back together again after. That's it. How much have you got on it?
£5. I've loads of wrestlers. Oh, I've got rumblers, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Nice one, cheers, pal. What you on that, bud?
10 mate.
Never been fitted that much. It's brand new, it's not, it's old, but it's new.
Yeah, yeah. How much is it?
£2.
Can't leave it on the table for £2, can I? You know if it's working?
Well, that like
Pays your money
new,
for, well, for £2, it's pays your money to take your chance, isn't it?
The wiring's in there.
I suppose you could power it for a kitchen as well, really, couldn't you?
Better power it without
Yeah, yeah.
just a 12 volt.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you.
Sorry?
How are we doing for time? That's about 10 past, I think. I don't know. Are you done?
13 minutes past. Yeah, I'm just having a look on the clock. Yeah, I'm going to the room and then I'm coming down. I was making my way.
Looks like the forecasters were bang on the money today. You can smell the rain in the air. It was forecast to rain from about midday, and I think that's a pretty fair forecast, to be fair. It's frightened some sellers off, I think, but even to say it's probably around about half as busy as it was this time last week. I still managed to fill the trolley, about 1.5 trolley loads, some interested and varied pickups as well, a couple of really good bargains, and a couple of items that are definitely outside my comfort zone, like Build-A-Bears for example. So let's get back over to the other side at Moors and see what awaits us there. So it's actually a day later now, so it's like we've travelled through time. Thought I'd sport my super sexy biker lifestyle branded t-shirt. If you want one, by the way, now here's a bit of gratuitous marketing for you. Check out the links in the description to the merch page. Who'd want one of these one apart from me? Who knows? Back to business. Coincidentally, 20 items picked up from Strawberry Field, and the total spend was £84.33. And like I said in the sign off from the field, was a good selection of stuff and stuff that I wouldn't normally pick up as well. So without further ado, I'm going to do the same thing I usually do, strap the GoPro to my head and go through what I got and how much I'm expecting to list it for. So a smorgasbord of variation today. So I'm going to start right to left and take you through what I've got. First up, this pair of pretty cool looking rollerblades. Now there's quite a bit of what looks like branding on here, but when I was searching them, I mean adult rollerblades are a pretty safe pickup anyway, if you're paying little enough, but because the amount of branding on here, I wasn't entirely sure what to search. So I was going off gut as far as the sellability of adult rollerblades are concerned, but for search purposes I typed in Misty 2 as the brand. It pulls up very little in the way of comps, but these are a particularly attractive rollerblade. They feel good quality, they've got good liners in, they just feel sturdy and well built. There is quite a bit of scuffing around the obvious places around the toe and the heel and whatnot, but the other one's probably a bit worse as well, but I'm not too concerned about that. I'm more concerned about the lining, how clean it looks, how quality it feels. I mean, there's a good armoured tongue in it, so it's a good quality boot and pretty cool looking as well. The wheels may have been replaced at some point as well because they look a lot newer than the rest of the boot. So the listing value I've put on these is £35, and going off recent track record, my recent track record of selling boots like this, then £35 is a pretty good estimate. Next up, this is new stuff as far as I'm concerned, because when I was in the army, these look completely different. This is a Gore-Tex bivy bag. Basically, the boys and girls in the field use these, and rather than put tents up and whatnot, they just slide these over the sleeping bags and sleep where they lay kind of thing, and this will keep them dry. Now, to me, this has clearly been unused. Best way to check if it has been used or not. A lot of creasing in the drawstring would be a surefire giveaway that it's been used. This one hasn't, obviously, so I'm listing this as new. To make sure also that it's proper military surplus, what you're looking for on the tag is the NSN, which stands for the NATO stock number. This one's NSN, blah, blah, blah. I mean, the rest of the number is almost irrelevant. If you're looking at ex-military stuff, military surplus and whatnot, if it hasn't got the NATO stock number on it, then there's a very good chance that it's not actually officially ex-military surplus or military issue. There's still a lot of money to be made in very old vintage military surplus as well, which won't necessarily have the tags. In a lot of cases, the tags are too worn to be able to read. And one thing I will say on that, if that is the case, then just do your due diligence a little and dig a bit deeper as far as your research is concerned, and check in comparable listings. Now, this is an item I haven't picked up for a while, but they've always been pretty steady sellers for me. They haven't hung around for long. This is a VTech Kiddie Zoom camera. Obviously, it's a digital camera for kids. You often see these on their own, and on their own, they're quite low value and probably not worth bothering with. But if it comes in its pack and it's got its leads with it, and software disc and manual, as is with this case, then it adds to the value. Again, nothing earth-shattering, but the listing value on this is £20, and you can quite often pick them up very cheaply as well. Nice, lovely, clean condition. Something else I haven't seen for a while, Travel Scrabble. I used to pick these up all the time, and I didn't even check the comps because these have always been extremely good sellers for me. I didn't check the comps, so I just picked it up. I mean, to be fair, the lady only wanted £1 for it anyway, so I was always going to pick it up. It's magnetic, tile store underneath. This is in really, really minty condition. I used to get in between £20 and £30, would you believe, for these? But the price has come down over the last year. Still plenty to be had, but plenty of meat on it as far as value is concerned. I've valued this for listing purposes based on the fact that it's in extremely good condition. It's got its pouch with it and its instruction manual. So the listing value I've put on this is £20. May have to take offers on it because of like I say, the price has come down a bit over the last year or two. But I'm also kind of thinking one of the reasons that the price has come down is because people haven't been traveling as much over the last year. It's one of the reasons that I'm looking with more interest at things like this and picnic sets and getting out and about kind of toys and equipment and items. So £20 listing value on that. Now, going back on the video, this coat was actually from what was obviously a house clearance kind of guy, and this is a really nice feeling quality leather suede jacket. It feels substantial, but it's also quite light with it being quite thin. The brand is Coffee, C-O-F-I. Never heard of this before, but obviously I had my phone with me. I was always going to check it out because I do like checking out quality garments and seeing what the comps are. It's a UK size 14. No significant, well, there's no damage at all on it, but there's no significant marking. I did see one or two very light marks on it. Nothing to write home about. Listing value I've put on that coat is £30. Now, I think the chap I picked these up off, or the couple of guys I picked these up off, are going to turn out to be a really good contact. Hopefully I'll bump into him again when I go back up at a strawberry field. They were selling a load of denim, a load of other stuff actually. The Gore-Tex bivy bag came from the same stall. So I think it could pan out to be a very good contact. I've got 6 vintage Levi shirts. Now, these are all imported from the States. I think 2 of them are buttoned and the rest are press stud. In a lot of cases, the press stud ones are more desirable for vintage Levi shirts. And if you watch my last video, a really, really good tip as far as Levi's in general concerned, shirts and jeans. On the pocket on the shirt or the jeans, if you look at the red Levi's tag, if the E in Levi's, I'll try and hold it closer to the camera, if the E in Levi's is a capital E, just hold on to it with all your strength as when you're checking the comps on it, because they are true vintage and often worth ridiculous amounts of money. I mean, we're talking well over £100 for shirts and jackets and jeans and whatnot. So store that firmly in your memory banks. Capital E in Levi's, check the comps on it with extra attention. So all these shirts are in really nice condition. He said when they came out of the container from the States to him that he's washed them all. I can believe it. There's no funky smells. They're all clearly exceptional quality. I mean, I think for the pictures I'll probably run an iron over them, although I don't do ironing really. Typical bloke. And there's a dirty mark on that, but I might need to give that an extra spin through the washing machine, see if that comes off. I have actually been through these, and none of these shirts have the capital E on, unfortunately, but hey ho. I did go through the others on the stand as well. So all of them really, really nice quality. I mean, clearly been used. Some of the giveaway on shirts is obviously often the collars. It's difficult to wash out the staining on the collars, but with vintage Levi stuff, the guy on the store confirmed it, that in a lot of cases, the tattier the better. People like that lived in look. The ones I went for, all large or extra large. That's obviously a nice safe zone as far as sizing is concerned. I think this one is the one with a bit of damage on it. There's one, yeah, there's a bit of a mark there, but I'm not too fussed about that. It adds to the rustic vintage look of it. So like I say, the listing value I've put on each of those shirts is £25. Now this is stepping outside my comfort zone. I'm not really a fan of doing plushes unless they're exceptional value. I was conscious of the fact that it was quieter at Strawberry Field this week, so I needed to make it worth my while going over. If it was busier than it was, I probably would have walked straight past these. All 4 of these plush are Build-A-Bear. It's the usual suspect lineup. The first one and the best value one is Keroppi. I don't think the mummy comes with clothes as standard, but the others possibly do. Well, obviously, if they've got the clothes with them, and they're supposed to have clothes with them, that adds to the value. But with Build-A-Bear, as far as plush are concerned, it's a fairly safe bet as well, as long as you're not paying too much. The first one is Keroppi, Keroppi, obviously a frog. Listing value of putting on Keroppi, best of the 4, is £20. The mummy, this actually looks really cool. I mean, you can tell they feel very good quality. Mummy has got her tag on her as well. I'm just assuming this Teddy's gender really, aren't I? The tag will probably add a little bit of value. The listing value of put on mummy is £14. Just a bog standard monkey. I couldn't find a name for him actually, if there is actually a name for this particular one. I've checked all the labels. I think they are supposed to have a name label as well, and the Build-A-Bear tag as well. But listing value of put on monkey is £9. And last of the Build-A-Bear plushes, Care Bear Sunshine. Seems to have all its tags with it. Nice clean condition. And the listing value of put on Sunshine is £15. Now I've already edited the first part of this video, and when I was looking, this was one of my last pickups, if not the last pickup of the day for me, this AGV helmet. As I was looking at it, directly in my line of sight there was a step stool, which if any of you chaps and chapesses have been watching George Ross, is something he does particularly well on. But no use crying over spilt milk. This AGV helmet was a really good pickup. The model on it is a K3 in a large. One thing I will say, if you're looking at helmets to pick up, is just pay very, very close attention to what it is you're actually looking at. Always try to go for the higher end brands. AGV is a high end brand. You've seen me pick up Shoei helmets in the past. But always try and go for the higher end brands because they're just better quality and more desirable. There is still some money in the lesser brands, the likes of the K-Berg and Box and whatnot. Very, very little, probably not worth bothering with in most cases. Now, a lot of people will say to you should never ever buy a second-hand helmet. Now, there's 2 trains of thought on that. I think if everybody was really wealthy, then I would say, yep, that's an ideal world. That's exactly what should happen. You should never buy second-hand helmets. However, that isn't the case. People still need to get to work, and often the only form of transport is a bike. So if you have limited funds, then you haven't really got any option but to buy second-hand helmets. And why not buy the best possible quality you can with that second-hand kind of money? Now, this clearly needs a really good clean-up. It's all superficial dirt in the main. There's a couple of small scuffs. The visor is in reasonably good order, but these are quite easily replaced, and it's not too expensive to replace them. So once all the dead bugs and storage gunk is wiped off, I think this is going to be in pretty smart nick, with the exception of a few tiny scratches. The linings on quality helmets are often removable, so you can wash them as well. There is some wear to this and a little bit of kind of gunk on the lining, but all this lining is removable anyway, so that can have a spin through the washing machine and and I'm sure that'll bring it up lovely. Pickup of the day as far as value is concerned. Listing value I'm going to put on this lid is £60 to £70. Now this was actually a pickup for me, and I've been looking for one for a while. I think I mentioned to Peter in the video, I originally bought one of these for my kids when they first came out and ended up playing on it myself most of the time. Obviously an N64, you guys will have seen these before. I've been looking for one at the right money, and I've had to sacrifice the fact that this one has some damage on the corner. The plastic casing's got a hole in it and the top trap is missing. There is a bit of corrosion around the contacts, but the chap I bought it off swears blind that it was in full working order. Seems to be a genuine kind of guy. I don't think that's the original trap door, but still, with it is all the wires, bits and pieces, one controller, everything you need to get going. Now I've been after one of these for myself for a while actually. I never really come across one at the right money. I think in my last strawberry field car boot video there was a couple there at £100 plus, but that's really kind of the mark I'm going to be selling them at, so I wasn't interested in picking out that. This one, because of the condition of it, there's not very much margin in it at all. I've been looking to list it for £40 to £50, but I do have 2 or 3 games to go with this, one of which is probably the most famous one, 007 GoldenEye, my favourite. But the reason I bought this, it wasn't really for the fact I will make money on it, but it wasn't really the reason I bought this, because I'll make very little in the grand scheme of things. But I'm going to keep this for a while and just play the hell out of it, just for a bit of a nostalgia. It's just really strange that resellers unplug by plugging in. So shall we say this one is going to get very, very, very well tested before it gets listed for £40 to £50. Next up, something is a staple for me. You guys will have seen me pick up BT phones a lot. This is just sort of like a pretty bog standard BT Freelance. The model is the XD8500. Obviously telephone answering machine, just the one handset with this. Now this came from a little bit embarrassing situation we had with the chap on the £1 table, me asking how much it was. What a muppet. But the listing value I've put on this is £15 to £20. Now I used to pick these Junior Meccano sets up a lot, but I haven't seen really any for a while now. They're dead easy to have a look at, and don't be put off by the fact that there's a lot of bits and you have to count it out. Because when I went through this, what I'm looking for is the important bits. There's tools in there, which is obviously a good thing. Lots of nuts and bolts and a good array of different parts. And the reason why I wasn't too bothered if this is a complete set according to the box, and there's no manual in here either, is the fact that bundled Junior Meccano sells really well just as a job lot of parts. So obviously, as long as you're not paying too much for these sets, this is set 2, but there's a few different sets. I mean, if they are complete and they have got the manual with them, then great. They sell for extremely good money, but just as a bundle of parts, I'd say stuff like this sells better than sort of like a bulk job lot of random Lego even. So this will be sold as just a selection of parts, and the listing value on it is £12 to £15. Now, last pickup of the day, I think that I came to the buying decision on this based completely on my own, I suppose, personal desires. Sounds a little bit of a weird thing to say, but I have this ambition to have a day van, a small camper, so I can take the grandkids away for the weekend, all that kind of stuff. And one option open is to actually convert a van myself. And now I know this is a thing. I've friends who've converted their own vans and so on and so forth, and I know it's a very, very popular thing to convert vans into day vans and camper vans. Now this would lend itself to that kind of scenario. So the idea is that gets bolted to the roof. I can't actually open it because it needs power to open, and the screen drops down and you can watch TV and whatnot. Now this is a bit of an older bit of tech, so it is just a TV stroke AV kind of setup, but it's got all the required bits and pieces, the remote, and most importantly the power stroke AV lead. So this will wire directly to a battery or a 12 volt power source and power that, and you can obviously plug a Freeview box into it, so it's nice and neat and out of the way. So I have every confidence this is a very desirable bit of kit, and the fact that the guy only wanted £2 for it is obviously a bit of a Brucey bonus. Even if it's knackered, then I've only lost £2. But because of what it is, the listing value I'm going to put on this is £50. Now, those of you that are already familiar with my videos or know, to qualify these prices, what I do is where I've used a price range for an item, the total figure I'm just about to give you is based on the lower end of that range. And also all of these items will be plus postage. So like I say, the total amount of items picked up was 20, total spend was £84.33, and the total gross listing value £565. Now obviously there's fees to come off that, eBay takes their bit, and obviously the taxman has to have his taste. But for a very overcast, and as it turned out very wet Thursday morning, definitely worthwhile the trip over. I think if it wasn't for the weather, it would have been at least as busy as it was on the previous week, which for a Thursday, like I said at the time, just blew my socks off. Well impressed with that car boot, and it is a stomp out for me. It's best part of a 5-hour round trip, but even so, with this kind of result, then it's worthwhile doing. I was back home by midday and having a little nap. Just further to the qualification of the listing values I've just given you as well, the reason I'd rather give you a total amount spent and the amount of items picked up as opposed to tell you what I paid for individual items. I know on a couple of occasions I did there for the example purposes, but the reason I do it that way is because the price that you pay for individual items at car boots is very much subjective. Everybody's got different abilities as far as negotiation is concerned, and as you well know, a lot of it's luck. You might just land on the right item that the person who's selling it doesn't really have an idea of its value. So that's the reason I use that format rather than tell you what I pay individually for items anyway. Now I'm building up quite a bit of stock now, so I really have to put some serious effort into listing it all. This is a really nice problem to have, obviously, because over the last year sourcing stock has been challenging to say the least. On that note, it'd be really interesting to hear how you guys are getting on post lockdown. How are you finding it when you've been getting out and about at car boots? I mean, from my own personal perspective, it's the land of milk and honey at the minute. I can't ever remember there being a time where sourcing was this good. So anyway, hit me up in the comments down below and let me know how you're getting on. I'll wrap the video up there, but if you found any value at all in this or reselling's your thing, please give the video a thumbs up. It helps me to help other people. The reason I started doing this YouTube channel in the first place was really to do exactly that, to help other people. I mean, if snippets of information of my own journey is helping somebody make a few extra quid, then that's never going to be a bad thing. Now there's one thing that I've only ever said once, I think. I probably should really say it more, but if you really want to help the channel out, just down below there's a series of links of equipment that I personally use for packing, for video production, general equipment and supplies. If you click those links and go on to get the stuff I use, then I get a bit of a, I suppose, commission, for want of a better word than that. It doesn't cost you any more money than it would do buying directly, but that's a really good way if you really fancy supporting the channel, and it would be very much appreciated. Right, time to get my listing boots on, so I shall sign off there. Thanks very much indeed for watching, guys. It really is appreciated. Don't forget a thumbs up, hit the subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.